If you are wondering, why am I still stuck after my partner's infidelity or betrayal? I'm doing everything right. Why am I still stuck? Then this is the show for you. What I want you to know is you are not crazy. You have just got some unbalanced energies going on inside of you. And today I'm going to explain what that is, what that means. And then I'm going to help you balance them so you can finally move on and heal. So if you have been journaling, reading, listening to podcasts, working with a coach, working with a therapist, doing all of the right things, but you still feel broken. You still feel stuck. You still have intrusive thoughts. You just are emotionally off kilter. You just don't feel like yourself anymore. Then this episode is for you. We're going to talk about the real reason why healing isn't working and how you might be missing the balance between divine masculine, and feminine, divine feminine inside of you. Because without that balance, without that unity, without that wholeness, no amount of effort is going to set you free. And if you're also feeling better within yourself, but still stuck in your relationship, I'm going to show you how you and your partner together can also come together to create that unity, to create some polarity with the masculine and feminine, so you can both each be healing yourselves and your relationship along the way. Okay, for those of you who haven't been here before, welcome. I'm really sorry that you're here. You are now a part of a sacred sisterhood that, quite frankly, none of us ever wanted to be a part of. And what I know for sure is, even though this has been my worst pain, my absolute worst pain, and it's an experience that I don't wish on anyone, it was also the biggest catalyst for growth of my entire life. And I wouldn't be the woman that I am today had I not gone through this journey. And my relationship with my husband, yes, we're still together. 7 years later, we are still together. Our relationship wouldn't be as strong or as honest, as raw or as intimate as it is today because of it. This experience really made me realize how there was so much performing going on in our life and our marriage, how we were living up to roles, how we put on masks, even to deal with each other, how we let the unhealed parts of us sometimes run the show. And this experience has really helped us shed those layers, connect to our vulnerability, manage shame, pain, trauma, become better communicators, and really reach a level of depth and intimacy that I don't think could have ever had before. Was it easy? No, it was not easy. Just like any couple, we still have difficult moments too. It's not like we've walked into this little Disneyland fairy godmother adventure world, but there is such a deep connection. There is such raw vulnerability that we never had before. And for that, I am endlessly grateful. Whether you stay with your partner, which is possible if that's what you both want, or whether you choose to walk away, or whether you're like, I don't even know what I want to choose, this show is going to help you. This community is going to help you. I can help you. Yes, I work one-on-one with both women and men and couples. So whatever you need, reach out. Lora at loracheadle.com. And you can even begin by downloading my Betrayal Recovery Guide at betrayalrecoveryguide.com. And that will also lead you to the different ways that you can connect with me. So with that, I'm glad you're here. I'm sad you're here. And together, we are going to rise and become stronger because of this. All right, healing from betrayal. It really isn't about just time or effort. It's about energetics. It's about the energetic integration within ourselves and with our partner. And in this episode, I really want to unpack some of the elements of masculine energy and feminine energy so we can lean into creating that sense of balance of divine masculine and feminine within, which will create healing. And I'm also going to teach you exactly how to reclaim your power by embodying both structure and surrender. This episode is dropping around Father's Day, and there's no coincidence because of that. It's really a tribute to everybody who is doing that deep work, who is transcending the toxic traits of generations in the past, toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, abuse. And it's really tributing men who want to step into their power, women who want to step into their power, and couples who, whether they stay together or not, are choosing healing and choosing growth with love, with strength, and most of all, with truth. Okay, so here are the first three things that I want you to know. First, masculine and feminine has nothing to do with gender. It's about energy. The second thing I want to talk about is structure versus flow, form versus surrender, because that's what you need. That right there is that missing key in healing. If you've got too much structure, you're not going to heal. If you've got too much flow and emotion, you're also not going to heal. And the third thing I want to talk about is your partner's role in helping you heal. Because if you're going to stay together, even if you're going to separate and co-parent, you two will still have interactions together. And the man really is being tasked with growing up from wounded boy to divine leader. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is really the definition of masculine and feminine, both toxic and feminine. First of all of us embody both masculine and feminine qualities. We embody both. Divine masculine, that kind of energy, which both women and men embody, is really about presence. It's about protection, accountability. It's about logic, clarity. It's about conscious leadership. It's about form. It's really about the strength and the integrity. You might have heard people define masculine as like the banks of the river, and feminine is the water that flows. It's the river. Or masculine is the soup bowl, and feminine is the soup. One of the ways I've really liked to describe it is masculine is the theater. It's the stage, it's the lights, it's the seats. And the feminine is the players, the actors, the musicians that bring that theater to life. Toxic masculinity, on the other hand, is about control. It's about domination. It's about power over. It's about avoidance. It's about grandiosity. It's about ego. It's about emotional shutdown. It's about take, 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 take. It's abusive. And sadly, in our culture in the Western Hemisphere, I think really all over the world, a lot of the toxic traits, toxic masculinity has been revered. We think people who are domineering can be really strong. We like that take charge attitude, not in the healthy way, but in that overbearing way. So part of what I want to do today is really have you rethink the definitions of masculinity and femininity. So when you were using this to heal, you were clear that you're not moving into a toxic masculine when I'm asking you to integrate more masculine into your own life. Now, on the other side of the coin, we've got femininity. Divine femininity is all about intuition, flow, feeling connected, being vulnerable in a beautiful, open way. It's about creation. It's about flowing with the seasons. That's why so much of the work that I do is centered around the seasons, because that is divine feminine. That is Mother Earth. That is beauty. It is joy. It is light. Whereas toxic femininity is about manipulation. It's about chaos. It's about martyrdom. It's about emotional overwhelm. It's about overfunctioning. And again, if you look at our culture, what are women encouraged to do? Women are encouraged to overgive. They are encouraged to self-sacrifice. They are encouraged to control through toxic manipulation. The feminine is not honored. The seasons, waiting for the seed to crack open and to grow up through the soil is not honored. Waiting, trusting intuition is not honored. If you were in a business meeting or any kind of meeting for that matter, and somebody has facts and figures and somebody has intuition, most people will lean on the facts and figures instead of the intuition. And that just shows this preference that has developed in our world for the masculine over the feminine. So again, I wanted to start with this description of masculine and feminine so you can see how the truly divine, pure traits of masculine and feminine are powerful. Free flowing connection, vulnerable creation, protection, strength, integrity, accountability. That is us in our highest and best selves. And that's what we are striving for, both us and our partners, in order to heal. Now, you might be saying, okay, that was a great little definition, Lora. And now I understand the difference between masculine and feminine. I know that both men and women embody both. I know the difference between toxic and powerful and healthy. But what does this have to do with healing? What does this have to do with anything? Because it's actually just ticking me off because now I can see how unhealed my partner was. And if he would have been more healed, this wouldn't have happened, blah, 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 blah. Why we're talking about this is a key to healing. Understanding and integrating the masculine and feminine within you is a key to healing. And it might be the reason why you are not healing despite doing everything right. Okay, now we're going to move into the structure part. Structure heals. The masculine structure heals. It is essential to have structure to your recovery. It's essential to read, listen to podcasts, work with somebody who has got a healing plan. My healing modality, my healing work is all based around the acronym FLAUNT. It takes you from that compressed, covered, pain-filled, collapsed place to an open, expansive space. It is a step-by-step framework. It is a step-by-step roadmap that leads you from that collapsed, compressed place into hope and healing and happiness. It's a process. It's like the stages of grief. It's a process. It's not just a free-for-all. It's a process. It takes different people different amounts of time to move through those stages of grief, to move through the stages of recovery, because yes, all relationships are different. All people are different, but it's a proven formula. You can't expect to heal from betrayal unless you are following a proven formula. It is too important than to just wing it. In healing, you need boundaries. You need legal knowledge. You need financial empowerment. You need to read. You need to journal. You need coaching. You need to educate yourself. This is all the masculine. This is the masculine energy. You contain some of that emotion. You are containing the emotion, but I want to be so clear. You're not suppressing it. Go back to when I was talking about masculine is the soup bowl and it holds the soup that is feminine. Masculine is the riverbanks and it holds and guides and directs the flow of the river. We're not talking about damming up the feminine, the flow, the water, the emotions. We're talking about directing it. You probably have rage. You should have rage. You probably have grief. You should have grief. You probably have all of the things, and you should have all of those things. But do you have that masculine structure in place to hold and guide and direct it? So many of the people that I work with talk about the pain, the rage, and they talk about raging at their partners. They talk about falling apart at work. They talk about their partner getting tired of their anger, of their tears. It's not about suppressing it, but how do you do that balance of letting it flow, and where do you let it flow to? Because if you just keep letting the emotion flow, you can just create more emotion. You need the structure of the masculine to guide that healing. But here's the thing. Sometimes we can get too stuck in our head. Sometimes we can get too much in the structure. I have read every single book. I have listened to every single podcast. I have done all of the things and I don't feel better. That's when you need to start looking at, how can I move more into my feminine? If I've done all the masculine, how can I move more into my feminine now to let some of that flow? And that's what I want to move into next, is a little bit about that healthy feminine. Feminine energy is flow. It's emotion. It's power. It is grief. It is tears. It is wailing. It is creative energy for the next chapter of your life, for your next incarnation, for your relationship. Emotion, femininity is the language of healing. You can't logic yourself out of betrayal trauma. You can't look at your calendar and say, you know what, it's been a year now, it's over, and cut it. You can't always stop the tears. It helps to understand things, but you can't logic your way out of trauma. Trauma is not logical. Trauma is a powerful, emotional, and physiological response. And that is that feminine energy. Feminine energy allows grief. It allows self-expression. If you're watching this, you're seeing that I am moving a lot. In the work that I do with people, we do somatic processing because we want to move. It's sensuality. It's sexuality. So often people hysterical bond and have a lot of sex with their partner after the betrayal, and then they feel absolutely crazy. That's normal because you're flowing something. Sometimes people just lean into wanting to feel sensuous themselves, wanting to feel beautiful themselves. It's a way to flow emotion. It's a way to create. Some people do get very creative. Some people just cry. Whatever it is for you, it is flowing. Again, think about the river bowl. Think about the soup. Think about the actors or the musicians on stage. They are the ones emoting. Feminine energy is emoting energy. But just like the masculine, if you're not healing, you could be stuck in feminine energy. If it's been 6 months and you're still crying every single day, maybe you're stuck in that. If you are still having obsessive thoughts, intrusive thoughts, if you just can't get your mind right, Maybe it's because you're stuck in this feminine flow. And think about the river with no riverbanks, and the torrent of water comes through and there's no riverbanks. What happens? It floods. It floods the village. It floods the city. It takes down everything. Think about the soup bowl. If there is no soup bowl and you're ladling soup on the table, there's nothing to hold it. So soup spills all over the table and you can't eat it. The soup becomes worthless without the soup bowl. And too much emotions become unhealthy and worthless without that masculine direction containing it. Just like an empty theater with no musicians, with no actors, provides no entertainment. It's worthless. And just like actors and musicians running around without each other, without a place to perform, there's no benefit there. It's that balance. So if you're not healing, the first question to ask yourself is, where am I most of the time? Where am I when I work on healing? Am I in structure? Am I in logic? Am I in my head? Am I reading and journaling and podcasting and doing it all? Am I do? Or am I collapsed? Am I in emotion and tears and flow and thought loops? Am I in despair? Notice where you are at, and then try bringing back some of the opposite energy. It might be time to stop reading books for a while. It might be time to drop out of your head and into your heart for a while. If you've been crying, it might be time to get up and do something. It might be time to create a checklist. It might be time to reach out to me and let's put together a healing plan. It might be time to incorporate the assistance of your best friend and be like, okay, you've got to come over every day and get me out of this house because I need something to do. If there's too much flow, bring in more structure. If there's too much structure, break away and give yourself some more time to flow, to cry, to swim, to dance, to sing, to moan, to lament, to do whatever it is to give you that balance. The other thing around this is not only how are you balancing this within yourself, but how are you balancing this within your relationship? Because one of the best ways that we can heal with our partner is by meeting our partner in the opposite and helping create that polarity so we can move forward into healing. And that means if we are in a collapsed state, if we are sad, if we're depressed, if we can't stop crying, how can our partner step into the masculine? How can our partner recognize, oh, you are in a state of feminine flow, watery collapse. Let me step in and be the rails. Let me step in and be the strong support. Let me give you what you need right now. This is not my time and my turn to go into my emotions and to start falling apart or attacking. It is my turn to be the support that you need to let this flow until you can start creating some more of your own guardrails. Or on the other side, if you are too in your head, if you are too structured and logical, how can your partner bring in some breath, some flow? How can your partner provoke some emotion so you can get out of that, I am holding this all together for everyone? It might look like your partner doing some cooking or cleaning or taking care of childcare duties or stepping in some structured way. I will make our therapy appointments. I will research this for you. You just go lay in a bathtub. You go take a walk. It's noticing each other and being able to step in. Again, the river and the riverbanks, you need both. You need that guidance and you need direction. And it's a dance. It's a dance of integration. It's how to notice within yourself and then give yourself the opposite so you can create internal balance. And then it's how to notice your partner and do the opposite so you can provide them what they need and you can give each other that support. And then beyond that, it's also creating that dialogue with your partner that can be really helpful in healing. I am in a watery state of flow. I need solid masculine. I need healthy masculine right now. I need you to decide where we're going for dinner. I need you to pick the paint colors. I need you to schedule the appointments. Or where you can also say, I need to be in my masculine right now. I feel so hurt and so out of my power from this. Flowing feels scary. Crying feels scary. Connecting with my emotions feels scary. I need to step into my power. I need to start driving the train and directing things right now because it gives me comfort. So instead of fighting me on that, I need you to step back and I need you to flow and I need you to help process for us. And when you start having these conversations with your partner, both about what's happening within you and with what's happening between you, it can really help, again, create such a sense of safety and belonging and healing. And I had said earlier when we started the show that I wanted to honor, Father's Day is coming up, and I want to honor that. We recently had Mother's Day too, and I want to honor that as well. I want to honor the uniqueness of each. I want to honor the pain that we all feel. Betrayers hurt too. And it's such a delicate balance because I don't want to take away your pain. You were victimized. I was victimized. Everybody who has been cheated on has been victimized by the betrayer. The betrayer is the bad actor. There is just no getting around that. And without minimizing that, what I really want to lean into is how we are all victims of life, how we have all been raised in a society with toxic beliefs around both masculinity and femininity, about how we all think that loud power is stronger than the soft power. But when in reality, that soft power, that fierce feminine, that's the power that changes the world. Fierce feminine is the power that topples empires. And it's my belief that that is why the feminine has been so suppressed, because it is so strong. And the masculine, in fear of losing power, felt the need to suppress and diminish that feminine power. And not only is this about healing you, it might also be about healing your partner and healing your relationship and healing the balance of power on the earth. So together we can create a new world, a new life for ourselves, for our children, for our grandchildren, for generations to come. And that's the beauty of a lot of this work. I often say betrayal uncovers the truth because it does. It uncovers so much, not only about our partners, but about us. Like I said earlier, this has uncovered so much about me. I was a chronic performer. I was a chronic overachiever. I sought to prove my worth each and every day. I manipulated from that covert one down position by saying snippy little comments sometimes to try to manipulate, by trying to quietly shame or just say something. And that was a journey that I had to embrace. I had to let go of that it was just about my husband and that it was just about him cheating on me. Because it's so easy to lock into that this is the biggest, most blatant wound. Because it is the biggest, most blatant wound. But when you're uncovering the truth, it's about so much more than that. And it's about really having the opportunity to look at your own toxic traits, your own toxic beliefs, your own tendency to be a martyr, to self-sacrifice. Because here's the thing about being a martyr and self-sacrificing, that whole good girl thing, I would get mad that people weren't seeing me. And yet I would circle right back in and do the same stuff in hopes that next time they would see me. It was like I had to prove how abused I was sometimes. And so much of the world commends that. They commend us dimming our light and self-sacrificing and, oh, you have given up all for your kids. You do everything for your family. That is so noble. No, it's not noble. It's BS. And if I want to do something, I do it because I want to do it. And if nobody notices or sees or cares, I am still happy because I choose what I want to do. And if somebody sees me and gives me an accolade, yay, bonus, yay, me. But I'm not doing things to make other people happy. I'm not performing the role of good wife and good mom. And that's a lot to take in. It's a lot to change. It's a lot to address. But if we're asking our partner to look at their wounds, to look at their trauma, to look at how broken they are, because they are broken. If they cheated, they are broken. And if we're asking them to step in to their divine masculine to heal that wounded boy, then we need to do the same. They need to go first. They need to go first because they created this most immediate harm. But it would not be fair to us or to the relationship for us to just accept their healing and then to move on without fixing ourselves. It would not be fair for us to rely on their healing alone, nor will it create a better, healthy relationship. Because if you show up the same way and your partner is truly healed, it's not going to be a match. They will walk away, or you will walk away because you are not at the same frequency. You're not at the same level. You are not creating that same masculine and feminine polarity. Healed partners deserve healed partners. And both of you deserve to heal and to be in a healed partnership, whether you're with each other or with somebody new. I want to move now into a little bit of discussion around that wounded child, the wounded boy, but also the wounded girl. Because wounded children create wounded adults. And we all have that part of us inside that is hurt, whether by big T trauma, abuse, poverty, neglect, or just by little T trauma, disappointments, sadness, being a little bit ignored, being parentified by your parents. It doesn't matter what the wound is. We all have something inside of us where we feel insecure, where we feel afraid, where we feel not good enough. And the problem with not doing some inner child work is that inner child shows up in our adult self and it wrecks the relationship. Here's what I want you to think about. If you're a kid and your parent abandons you, you can die. You don't have food, you don't have money, you don't have shelter, you don't have the ability to take care of yourself. And all of us humans know that. So we are terrified of abandonment because we think it equates to death. Because as children, it does. But here's the thing. As an adult, we have these attachment wounds and we're so afraid of being abandoned. But let me ask you this. Are you going to die as an adult if you were abandoned by your partner? Are you going to die as an adult if you were abandoned by your partner? No. You might be heartbroken. You might be inconvenienced terribly, but you're not going to die. You know how to cook. You have a credit card. You have money. You have the ability to make money. You will not die if you were abandoned as an adult. But your inner child still feels like they will be dead. They will be at risk. So as an adult, that inner child comes up and makes situations seem worse than they are, more dramatic than they are. And one of the techniques that we can do to help calm and soothe that inner child is talk rationally to yourself. Ask yourself, I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like whatever it is, I'm being abandoned. But am I really? Am I really being abandoned or am I just being left? Because there's a big difference. We can leave friends, we can leave jobs, we can leave relationships, but it's not abandonment. Leaving your partner is not abandonment. And one of the things that comes up so often with infidelity is that belief that we were left for another woman. We were abandoned for another woman, that we weren't chosen. And what comes up in that situation is that inner child's panic and fear of death. And being able to recognize my inner child is reacting more strongly because of the past can really help us gain some perspective on what's happening for us. Inner child meditations, inner child work is really just separating yourself as an adult from yourself as a child and seeing yourself as an adult, having sovereignty, having the ability to make choices and take action. And then seeing yourself as a child with somebody who really can't take action and really can't make choices, who really isn't sovereign yet. And that practice of separating those two identities and reminding yourself, wait a minute, I can make choices, seems kind of simple. And you might be shaking your head thinking, I don't really get why that's so powerful. Here's why it's so powerful. It really reminds us of who we are. In my Facebook group, when I coach people, when I talk to people, so often I hear the language of like, I'm stuck. I can't do this. I've been And they use this disempowering language. I've been abandoned. He didn't choose me. I don't know what to do. And it's such an important reframe to be like, when you're in that place, to remind yourself, but I am an adult. I can make choices. I might not like the consequences of those choices, but I can make choices. I can leave right now. I can get help. I can put it on a credit card. I can go back to school and get an education. I can put my kids in daycare and get a job. We can do whatever we want because we are adults. We might not like the consequences, but we can do anything that we want to do. And I ask you to sit with that for a little bit because it's scary, because all the responsibility is on us. Let me tell you a little story. It's kind of silly, but it makes sense. Last week, I went to Disney World with my family, and there was me and my mom and my two sons and my soon-to-be daughter-in-law. So there were five of us, and we all have different ideas about things, and we all took turns making decisions. And sometimes if something was really important to one person, we would lean in and do it. And sometimes if something was really important to another person, we would lean in and do it. But the very last day, we had tickets to go to a theme park and we were only going to go a half a day. And the night before, we were all talking about how tired we were. And should we go or should we not go? And we went into this spiral of not knowing. And we were making such a big decision like, do we go to Hollywood Studios on the last day or do we stay home? Well, my feet hurt. I'm kind of tired. Well, we would have to get up early and then we'd be tired, at the airport. Well, we might be stressed because we have to get through the parks quickly to catch a flight. Well, what if the transportation doesn't work? Well, what about the suitcases? And it was like all of these decisions kept piling on and on and on. And we all kind of wanted the other person to make a decision because we didn't want to be the one who said, yes, let's go, and then to miss our flight because of all these other bad decisions. Or we didn't want to be the one that said, nope, let's not go, and then to have everybody regret that and be like, oh, well, so and so made that decision and I wish we would have gone. And we finally made a decision and it was hard. And then the next day, do you know what happened? After the decision had been made, after we were at the airport, once it was too late, we all had like this regret. Oh my God, we should have done it the other way. We should have gone to the park. We shouldn't have rested. We should have done it. And we questioned ourselves. And a couple days later, we were still questioning ourselves. And the reason that I'm telling this story is twofold. First, I want you to know that whatever decision that you make, you're going to question it. That's just part of the deal. You're going to question your decisions. And the other reason I tell this story is because we all want somebody else to make the decision for us. We all want it to be where, well, so-and-so decided and it wasn't me. So if it goes bad, we have somebody else to blame. It wasn't us. And then the third reason that I tell this story is whenever we make decisions, we bring in all of these different bits and pieces and thoughts, and we sometimes convolute it. Sometimes more information is better, but sometimes we just make it convoluted because we bring in too much. And when you think about inner child work, when you think about masculine and feminine, when you think about integrating and becoming whole, it is a lot. And that's why healing takes time. And that's why you need the process of the masculine. You need that structure. I'm going to do inner child work. I am going to do feminine, masculine healing. I am going to do all of these different things. And then you heal it within yourself. In the meantime, your partner is doing their stuff. I am going to heal this. I am going to do my own inner child healing. I am going to do this, that, and the other thing. And they integrate it within themselves. And then you come together and you integrate it between each other. So, why aren't you healing? Maybe because you've been stuck in too much feminine flow and you need more structure. Maybe you're not healing because you've been in too much structure and you need to bring in some of the emotion. You need to get out of your head and into your heart, and you need to feel this. Maybe you're not doing your own healing. Maybe you're focusing on your partner's healing. Maybe you have fully collapsed your inner child with your adult self, and you haven't separated those two identities. So your inner child is running the show, and their fears and their lack of sovereignty are making you feel like you're an abandoned little girl, or that your partner is an abandoned, bad, naughty little boy. Integrate, separate, come together, pull apart, be in the flow, be in the structure, understand the past, but live in the power of the present. And that, my beautiful soul sister, is how you heal. It's how your partner heals, whether you stay together or not. It's how we heal each other. It's how we heal the world. If you would like to get together, please reach out. You can go to betrayalrecoveryguide.com. You can download the Betrayal Recovery Guide. You can get my information that way. You can go to Lora@LoraCheadle.com and send me an email. We can talk about what you need. You can share your story with me. This is where I think I'm at. This is, what do you think I need? Where am I? We heal together. We heal with that balance of structure and support and flow in tears. We heal together and we heal apart. I am here for whatever you need. I look forward to connecting. I honor you. I honor your partner. I really, truly do. I honor the journey of the betrayer. That is not an easy journey either. To be the perpetrator, to be the betrayer, to be the one who hurts others, that's not an easy position to be in either. How can you honor your partner and their journey while not abandoning yourself? And on the flip side, how can your partner honor his journey of being the one who betrayed, of being the one who created chaos, and still love himself and accept himself enough to know that he too deserves healing and can hold space for your rage and your tears? Because that is pure masculine strength. And I know it's not easy, but I also know it's something that we're all capable of if that's what we want. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Remember to share the show, to leave a review so others know who we are and what this is all about. Reach out. Have an amazing week. And as usual, always remember to flaunt exactly who you are, because who you are is always more than enough.